Hi, Bill. Sean here. Look, just thought I'd ask you a few quick questions about your experience
Yeah,
with
sure, mate.
everything. It's all right?
Yeah, go
Brilliant.
ahead.
Thanks, Bill. Well, so just firstly, can you just tell me a little bit about yourself and just your background with all of this?
Yeah, well, obviously, I'm nearly 79. I've worked all my life. I worked in the music business until I was about 70. Retired when I was 70. Had been married previously. Unfortunately, my first wife died of a melanoma at the age of 60 in 2002. And I had actually met Jo years earlier because her first husband's best younger brother was my best mate. That sounds a bit convoluted. And I'd met Jo when we were quite young, and 30 years later, our paths happened to cross again, and we got married in 2009. Lived very happily, bought a nice unit while I'm sitting in now in Mount Waverley.
Yeah.
Lived very happily there, but about 6 years into Jo's marriage, she unfortunately got diagnosed with Alzheimer's,
Yeah.
which progressed as it does over the years, and it got to a stage last year where we could see, we needed to make some plans for her care, and Jo's daughter Liz just went on the internet and tracked down to see if there's any specialist people, and came across you.
Yeah.
And as you recall, that Liz and I initially, I think, made contact with you, and we had a chat, and we felt comfortable in our discussions. So we decided that we'd sort of ask you to look after helping getting things done for us, and of course, which we've done, and we've had numerous meetings, both Jo's family and my family. I've got a son and a daughter, and of course Jo's got Liz and her two sons, Scott and Stuart, and we've had calls with you, mainly Zoom because of the COVID situation. And you've done the job for us, and now Jo's, unfortunately for me and for Jo, she's now in permanent care.
Yeah.
But I know you've done a wonderful job getting all that in place, and also talking to Centrelink and getting over the many Centrelink hurdles.
Oh,
And
awesome.
and it's been great. So, could not be happier.
Okay. Well, thanks, Bill. Really appreciate that. And so, can I ask what was your biggest struggle with the whole aged care thing that you found looking back?
Well, the aged care thing, I suppose, I suppose the biggest struggle was just working out, getting the best deal on it.
Yeah.
There was the Blue Cross Scotiaman's Creek, which is just around the corner from where I live, and Liz just lives in East Oakley, which is very close. And we said, it'd be nice if we could, get Jo into there. So we went to Blue Cross. We did that on our own back, as you know.
Yeah.
And talked to Blue Cross people. In fact, we looked at a couple of locations, and we liked the one they had in South Oakley, but unfortunately, it didn't have a dementia ward there, while the one at Mount Waverley did. So once we got ourselves happy about the location, we basically said to you, well, Sean, we've got the location. Can you negotiate with them on the actual costing? Because I know it's a very expensive exercise. And again, you did a fantastic job where I don't know whether you had blackmail photos. I'm not quite sure how you did it. But obviously, you got a fantastic reduction on the RAD, the deposit on the room, which was sensational. And obviously, again, it took away all the pain of us having to talk to them about costs. I mean, you did all that for us, and you just came and said, "Look, I've done it. Instead of paying that, you're going to have to pay that." And then we go from there. So really, you've once again, you did the work. We got it started, but you took it off our hands and basically got a much better result than what we probably would have got. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, thanks, Bill. It was good. It was a good.
Yeah.
Oh, I was quite happy with that too. So, and I guess the other part about this one that made it a little bit different was just with that blended family situation, and it was quite complex in terms of the estate planning and all of that. And
I told you to get a phone call. No, it's actually someone else. Would you believe? Can you want us to stop recording? Hey, Phil, I'm in the middle. Yeah.
All right. And especially with the blended family situation, it was quite complex with the finances, with two sets of adult children. And I know you also had an existing financial planner. So that was one of the other things, just having a trusted financial planner. How did you find it working with two different
Well,
professionals?
as you know yourself, I think it worked very well because, firstly, from the blended family, um, but luckily, and I think you agree, Joe and I had a very good will. We'd spent a lot of time and effort getting our will right, and the will was, as far as our finances, and also Joe had some of her money tied into my superannuation, but it was a separate entity.
Yeah.
So, our financial people had done a very good job. So I think, from a blended family point of view, there was really, Joe's daughter Liz was talking on behalf of Joe's family with her brother Stuart doing, putting in his 5/10 worth, where my son Stuart, who's got a pretty smart financial brain, he sort of took the load off me. And I think once we established the fact that we all were on the same wavelength and we weren't worried about ourselves, we were worried about getting the best for Joe. I think, and I think you said as a blended family, it worked pretty well for you. There wasn't the infighting that I can imagine can happen. I know it does happen happens with families where money's concerned, let alone blended families. And then I spoke to my financial advisor, David Macquarie, who's a very reasonable bloke, as you know.
Yeah.
Told him what we were doing, and Dave's attitude was, well, look, I've got the information here. Just get Sean to talk to me, and I'll work with him. And I think you agree, you and David had a very good working relationship, and that worked very well indeed. David was new. I know you spoke a lot, and you threw ideas to David and vice versa, and he helped out, and he was very involved in getting the money transferred across, from out of Joe's assets. So once again, I think while it looked like it could be a real problem area, A, the blended family, B, already having a financial guy, they worked very well.
Yeah.
Now, I say that, and that is because of the quality of the people. Yourself and David and Joe's family and my family, we all worked very well.
Yeah.
Together, and I don't know whether everyone works as well as that, but I'm sure.
No, not everyone.
But as far as I'm concerned, I didn't have to put any sort of bushfires out between me and Joe's kids, or between you and Dave Macquarie. It all just, everyone seemed to work for Joe's best interests. So again, it was fantastic. It was really good.
Yeah. Thank you. And can I get the only other question about, I guess, the things that we did? Can you tell me a little bit about the Centrelink situation? Because
Centrelink, I must admit, Centrelink was one. Initially, when we talked about Centrelink, I said, look, I'll handle Centrelink. I think I'm pretty on top of this. Little did I realise just how complicated Centrelink in this area was. And while I got it started with my daughter Angie, and I put time and effort in, Centrelink, obviously, in this case where you're moving money around left, right and centre, and because, can I say, the incompetence of Centrelink in some cases.
Yes, a lot of cases.
It would have been very hard. And I think after Angie and I started just trying to get a 5-page document sent to Centrelink by email, they wouldn't accept it for no particular reason. Yeah. I said to Angie, this is all too hard. I think I'm going to say, Sean, help. I did. And you took that over on our behalf, and I just got the odd letter from Centrelink that you said ignore, because it'll, and so which I have. And then of course you've come up and told me just a few days ago that you've sorted it out, and we've got Joe and myself on the full pension, and which will cover the daily fees, and we're using the RAD to pay for some of the other fees. And I think the situations with the RAD will last about 6 or 7 years. And if Joe is still with us after that time, we'll have to make a decision on what to do. And the obvious thing would be probably to take a small reverse mortgage on our property to to pay for the rent if that's required. But that's something which I guess I'll ring him 6 years' time and say, hey, Sean.
Yeah, that's all right. Look, I'm not going anywhere, so yeah,
Yeah,
I'll be here. So, um, okay, well, two other questions from here. I guess the first one
yeah.
is initially, what made you choose us, Aged Care Financial Planning, or me?
Well, I think after Liz and I had the initial meeting with you, we just liked you as a person. You know, it's just a person. It's just a person. It's just a personal thing. We sort of, I mean, but Liz and I both felt very comfortable dealing with you, and we said, well, yeah, we think Sean's the right guy for this. And I think Liz has recommended you to a number of her. She's got a lot of other friends her age who've got parents with similar situations to what I'm in. I think Liz has recommended you to some other
Yeah.
people, which I think shows that she's very happy as well as I am. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And it probably leads to my next question. And who would you recommend our services to?
Yeah, well, I think in my case, because most men, I'd recommend to anyone who asks me, put it that way. But
Yep.
I think, I'm in that interesting situation where I've got lots of friends of a similar age, and I've got a couple whose wives are in care. One's in care. There's one who's just about to go into care, and I've really thought myself, well, I must talk to him and say, look, it's worthwhile, taking this guy, Sean Ganguly, on if you want to do it. This guy's a very difficult man. I don't know whether I'd be doing you a favour or not. I recommend. But I know, but I put this way, any of my friends who fall into a situation where one of their partners goes in, has a dementia problem, the same as Joe, and has to go into care and do this, I would definitely recommend you that they talk to you. I would do that for sure, mate. Have no fears.
Oh, thank you. No, thanks so. And Bill, I really appreciate. It's been a genuine pleasure working with the family. Like the truth is, whenever I see blended families, I always think this could get a bit complex. But it was so good. It was just like honestly, like the part of the job that I love the most is it was literally dealing with two sides of the family. Everyone, we're all working together for the same reason, same
Yes.
cause. Everyone wanted to look after Joe. We did it. We talked about, we had the difficult conversations, but we got a really good result all round. And
Yeah.
just with everyone. It's been an absolute pleasure. So,
Yeah.
and I really appreciate you also taking the time to do this. It means
And
a lot
most
to me.
importantly,
Yeah.
we paid you on time.
Yeah,
You got your money. You got your money. That's
I did.
important.
No, I
Yeah.
did. So that was good too. Thank you.
And
So,
can I say this? It was money well spent.
yeah.
It was money
Okay.
well spent. It really was. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. No, Sean, thank you very much. As I said before, to you personally, anyone who sees this, if they would like me, to confirm it in case they think you've paid me a fee for saying all these lines, I'm more than happy for you to give anyone my mobile number, and I can confirm any of the things I said today on this video interview. Okay. Yep.
Perfect. Thanks, Bill. Really appreciate it. So awesome. I'll
Okay.
just stop the recording now.